Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As part of the initial celebration of the 50 years of establishment of bilateral cooperation between diplomatic relations between Brazil and the Republic of China, the Popular Republic of China, the Brazilian Academy of Sciences has the pleasure to organize this event. That is the first of a series of events that we will be organizing in collaboration with the Chinese Academy of Sciences and other Chinese institutions that work together in several areas with us. So this is the first activity that we're organizing. Thank you all for being here. We have several people participating online as well. So to start, I would invite for the opening ceremony, Professor Helena Nader, President of the Brazilian Academy of Sciences. Professor Carlos Aragão, here representing FINEP, it's the funding agency for studies and projects. And Professor Luis Fernandez, who's the acting Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation of Brazil. Professor Carlos Morel. And also Professor Yungui Yang.
Hello. Good afternoon to all of you, and for the ones that are online. For me, it's an honor as president of the Brazilian Academy of Science to welcome all of you to, as Marcos Cortesão already pointed out, the celebration of 50 years of collaborations between Brazil and the Republic of China. We have in science collaborations going on in different areas. Everybody knows about especially the space with the satellites, but we have a strong collaboration also on health, and Professor Morel is going to talk about that. And we have strong collaborations also in agriculture and on climate change and several other topics. So in 2018, the Brazilian Academy of Science, together with the Chinese Academy of Science, that's called CAS, signed an MOU. And this MOU that was for 5 years has been re-signed last year, 2023. And we hope that we will go on with these collaborations for the next at least 50 more years. It's very important also to mention that the collaboration that we have with China impacts very profoundly the type of work and the citations of the work that are made between our two countries. And we need to increase this collaboration. It's very important to have South-South collaboration, not only South-North. And the President Lula is really putting a lot of efforts in the BRICS. And for us, it's important to have China as a partner. Because as I was telling Professor I hope I don't mispronounce Yang. It's easier to say the last name than the first name. But I was telling Professor Yang, it's amazing what happened to China in the last 50 years. So we all want to have a wish that China moves forward each time faster, and that China really starts to look in a very, as you are doing, in a very important way to South-South collaborations, because it's most relevant for all, not only for Brazil, but for all Latin American and the Caribbean countries to have partners. This morning I was in a meeting which was the World Academy of Science, whose now president is from South Africa, but before that was from China. The president of CAS was the president of TWAS. And TWAS was started as the World Academy of Science for developing countries. And we need to strengthen that. That will make us stronger and will benefit all partners. So thank you so much for being here. And I'll pass the word to Marcos Cortesão. Thank you, Marcos.
We have a video from the Professor Lu Chaofeng, who's the Vice President of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. But before that, I would also like to announce that we have with us Professor Cristiano Pérez Coelho, Rector from the Universidade Federal de Jataí, from Goiás, and Professor Mônica Heilbronn, Director of International Cooperation, representing Professor Gulnara Azevedo Silva from the State University of Rio de Janeiro. So now we will hear a few words from Professor Lu Chaofeng, Vice President of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, who's responsible for the area of international cooperation within CAS.
Distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, on behalf of the Chinese Academy of Science, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to this significant scientific event on occasion of the 50th anniversary of China-Brazil relations, and my deepest gratitude to those who committed themselves to the bilateral scientific cooperation between China and Brazil. As the first Latin American institution to establish a bilateral cooperation mechanism with CAS, the Brazilian Academy of Science is one of our most important partners in Brazil. Even though we are geophysically far apart, we share common interests in the development of science and technology. Under the framework of the MOU signed in 2018 and the renewed MOU in 2023, both sides have jointly held a series of seminars and conducted personal exchange programs in the fields such as life and health, agriculture, space science, and earth science, laying the foundation for substantive scientific research cooperation between the two countries. CAS, being the largest national scientific research organization in China, attaches great importance to health-related research and has set it as one of the priority areas in its development plans. The collaboration with Brazilian scientific community in this area definitely leads to the higher research efficiency and great contribution to the advancement of science and the well-being of society. Taking this opportunity, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to all the experts and friends for their cooperative dedication and efforts. I believe that the event today would serve as a good opportunity to deepen and broaden our bilateral collaboration, as well as the friendship between China and Brazil. I hope that our long-term partnership will continue to flourish in the next 50 years and beyond. I wish the meeting a complete success. Thank you.
We will now hear some words from Ambassador Marcos Galvão, who's the Brazilian embassy in China.
Good afternoon to you. Professor Helena Nader, President of the Brazilian Academy of Sciences, Mr. Luiz Manuel Rebelo Fernandes, Executive Secretary of the Brazilian Ministry of Science, Mr. Zhu Qingqiao, Ambassador of China to Brazil, my dear friend, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to take part in this celebration, although remotely, of this celebration of the long-standing partnership between Brazil and China in the fields of science, technology, and innovation on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. Over the past 5 decades, as we know, the relationship between Brazil and China has continued to evolve and to strengthen. Among the most significant areas of this partnership is our collaboration in science and technology. A flagship example of this is the China-Brazil Earth Resources Satellite Program. It was a pioneering effort from the mid-1980s, as you know, between 2 developing countries from the South, embarking on an ambitious high-technology partnership. As time has changed, so too has the scope of our collaboration in science and technology, of course. Traditional areas remain important, but they have been enhanced to meet modern challenges. Take the CBERS program, for instance. Last year, during President Lula's visit to Beijing, Brazil and China signed the joint protocol for CBERS 6. For the first time, the new satellite in our joint space initiative will feature radar technology and significantly enhance our remote sensing capabilities, particularly in monitoring the Amazon. Furthermore, new areas of cooperation have emerged to reflect the rapid pace of technological change. On the same occasion as the CBERS 6 agreement, the Brazilian Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation signed a memorandum of understanding with its Chinese counterpart on cooperation in research and innovation. This MOU seeks to promote research in key strategic areas such as artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, climate change, and biotechnology. Another milestone was recently achieved in Brasilia, where the ministry signed an MOU with the Chinese Academy of Sciences. These new agreements lay the foundation for deeper and more dynamic collaboration between our 2 nations in the realm of science and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, following the visit last year by President Lula and this year by Vice President Geraldo Alckmin to China, we now look forward to welcoming President Xi Jinping to Brazil in the coming weeks, late November. This series of high-level exchanges, combined with the celebration of our 50-year diplomatic relationship, offers a unique opportunity to both reflect on our shared accomplishments and chart a path for enhanced cooperation in the future. In this spirit, I extend my sincere congratulations to the promoters and organizers of today's event and wish everyone a productive and insightful meeting. Thank you very much.
We also have a video from Ambassador Zhu Qingqiao. That's the ambassador from the Republic of China and Brazil.
尊敬的纳达尔院长，尊敬的费尔南德斯副部长，尊敬的彭塞拉主席，尊敬的中科院杨英贵所长，各位来自巴西科研机构的专家朋友们，大家好！非常高兴出席巴西科学院纪念中巴建交50周年的活动。50年来，中巴两国始终坚持相互尊重、平等互利、合作共赢，在政治、经济、科技等领域开展的合作，给两国人民带来实实在在的利益。今年是中巴建交50周年，也是中巴高委会成立20周年。 巴西还将主办20国集团理业峰会，两国将以此为契机，加强高层交往，推动发展战略对接，根续传统友谊，为两国关系迈向下一个黄金50年打下坚实基础。中国和巴西作为发展中大国和重要新兴市场国家，科创合作是两国关系的重要内容。建交50年来，双方在空间技术、基础科学、气候变化、生物技术、公共卫生等领域开展了富有成效的合作。已持续30多年的中巴联合研制地球资源卫星合作，被誉为高科技领域南南合作的典范。当前，新一轮科技革命和产业变革正在加速推进，科技与经济社会发展的融合日益深化，全球创新和经济格局加速重构。中巴两国都把科技创新放在国家发展战略的核心位置。中国正在以中国式现代化全面推进中华民族伟大复兴，加快实施创新驱动发展战略，以新质生产力推动高质量发展。在卢拉总统的领导下，巴西也在积极推动数字化转型和人工智能等领域的国家创新规划，进一步拓展丰富两国科技合作，将为各自国家现代化建设不断注入创新驱动力。在抗击新冠疫情期间，中国科兴公司与巴西布坦坦研究所紧密合作，不仅成功开发新冠疫苗并完成临床试验，还推动了疫苗的大规模生产和供应，切实保障了人民的健康安全，向被疫情割裂的世界充分展现出中巴两国在应对全球性挑战中的责任与担当。在今年G20研究与创新部长级会议期间，桑托斯部长与中国科技部殷和俊部长举行了双边会晤，探讨了生命科学和医药技术的合作，特别是在医用放射性同位素方面，以此推动癌症诊疗的科技进步，造福两国更多的患者。当前，生物医学大数据正在展示出巨大的潜力，作为一项跨学科、跨领域的前沿技术，有望通过人工智能的加持，成为全球医疗健康和生命科学发展的关键推动力。中巴两国拥有丰富的生物资源、多样化的人口结构以及快速增长的医疗数据基础，在科技创新和健康领域面临着共同的任务和挑战。这也为双方在生物医学大数据领域的合作提供了广阔的空间和机遇。我们有望将这一合作领域打造成下一个高科技领域的南南合作典范。各位专家朋友们，中国有句古话：“千里同好，见于今时。”中巴两国唯有携手合作，才能共同应对健康领域的挑战，继续为全球健康和福祉贡献大国力量。预祝本次会议圆满成功，谢谢大家。
We will now hear some welcome words from Professor Carlos Aragão, here representing FINEP.
First of all, I would like to greet our Acting Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Luis Fernandes, my President, Helena Nader, Carlos Morel, a longtime friend, and of course, Professor Yang, our distinguished guest, who will be the speaker in the next session. I would also like to greet all the members of the audience and remind you that I'm not Celso Pancera. I'm Carlos Aragão. I am the Director of Science and Technology of FINEP, but here representing our President Pancera, who could not make it, unfortunately, but then I have the privilege and the pleasure of representing our agency. FINEP is one of the two funding agencies of the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. It's an agency that's directed towards institutions, whereas our National Research Council deals with researchers. I have a tradition of collaboration with China that goes back to the year 2003, when I became a member of the World Academy of Sciences, and this happened in Beijing in 2003. And then I had another opportunity to visit China in 2013, yet another conference of TWAS. And needless to say, I, just as all of the Brazilian researchers that were with me at that time, were deeply impressed with the level of progress and achievement of Chinese science, technology, and innovation. At FINEP, being a funding agency, we deal with projects of all sorts, and some of them, of course, are projects in international cooperation. Among them, a very recent one, which we are supporting together with our Chinese friends, is called Bingo. A very interesting name. It's not something that you do in a casino. It's rather an acronym for a Baryon Interaction Neutral Gas Observatory, and it's the first observatory to be constructed in our northeastern region, in Campina Grande, which is a city very close to the capital, João Pessoa. And this is a very important collaboration between Brazil and China. And as I say, it's a first-rate observatory that will be dedicated to research in astrophysics, and we're very happy with that. But there are other examples. Probably our minister will mention them. For example, we have it was already mentioned by our ambassador, we have this long-standing collaboration in satellites, and we will just be preparing the 6th version of the CBERS project, a new satellite that will be in orbit soon, we hope, which is yet another example of very fruitful collaboration between our two countries. My university, the Federal University of Rio, also has strong collaboration with China through its Graduate School of Engineering, COPE. In fact, they have a collaboration with Tingshao University. And these are just some of the examples of very interesting collaborations that we have between our countries in the domain of science, technology, and innovation. So it's a great pleasure to be here to celebrate 50 years of a very fruitful relationship, and we hope at FINEP that we will have many more wonderful projects to support in all these domains. Here we'll be talking about health mainly, but we have climate change, artificial intelligence. There are many, many challenges that we can have to deal with, and of course, with the collaboration between our researchers and Chinese researchers, it's quite certain that we will make significant progress. So congratulations to both China and Brazil for celebrating these 50 years of a very fruitful and promising relationship. Thank you.
We will now hear a few words from Professor Carlos Morel.
Well, good afternoon to all of you. Helena, Luis Fernandes, Aragão, and our colleague, Dr. Yungui Yang. It's quite a pleasure to be here in the Academy in the context of these 50 years of collaboration between China and Brazil. This collaboration suffered a pit stop with the pandemics. Everything stopped. We were very excited around 2018, we're continuing. And one fatality was that we elected Dr. George Gao, academician from Brazil, and the pandemic came and he could not come and get his title. So I think at some stage we have to call him back again. But just an example how the pandemic, COVID-19, was a catastrophe for everybody. It was a social, economic, and sanitary phenomenon that was shaking the world and still has some continuity. In this context, it was very interesting that I was already collaborating with China, mostly in the area of virology and pandemics preparedness. we also had to stop that. But an opportunity arose when the World Health Organization nominated a committee called the Scientific Advisory Group on the Origins of New Pathogens, they call it SAGO, to study the origins of the pandemics. It's ongoing work. This morning, we had from 8 to 10 a virtual meeting with WHO. But this committee, it was very good because made me meet Professor Yungui Yang. We were working since 2021, and this was really an opportunity because we saw immediately the potential of collaboration between our institutions. Also, we had the hard task in this committee to combat fake news. All the ideas that laboratory leak was a fault of the Chinese, etc., etc., and it was quite an interesting but scientific-driven debate. So in the next month or so, we are going to make a report on the origins of this virus. But anyway, this gave us an opportunity to meet Dr. Jung. And when he accepted our invitation to come to Brazil, we realized that it was during the 50 years of collaboration. So I said, Helena, perhaps we could do something together. So this was a very good coincidence that we profited. And thanks to that, you are here. And thanks to that, we are going to hear the seminar of Dr. Yungui Yang. Thanks, Helena. Sim?
No final.
Yeah.
Would you like to make some greetings?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I will now invite Professor Yungui Yang to make his greetings, opening remarks.
Yeah. Hello. This month I feel very moved and exciting.
Tá ligado?
Yeah, and very exciting and very moved.
No.
By your welcome
Yeah, no, it's well.
delegation.
Okay.
So I need to go back to the routine schedule. Is dear President. I forgot. Pretty exciting. I forgot to say hello. Okay. I need to go back. So dear President Helena, and our President He, and Marcos, and Ambassador Zhu, and also Carlos, and Carlos, two Carlos, right?
Two Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos, Minister. Yeah,
Carlos.
yeah, combination. Okay, and also distinguished guest friend. And at this moment, I feel very exciting and moved. I mean, for the 15 years relationship with China and Brazil, it's my age. So I'm 53 years old. Now our relationship is 50 years old. I come to this stage, actually, I want to come a long time ago. So I'm quite lucky to meet Carlos, which 3 years ago, and Sego. So at that moment, I was vice director, not a director yet. So 1 year ago, I became the director. So I talked to Carlos. We need, I want to make some actual move on the collaboration between our two sides. And as you know, my visit come this time, not only Carlos and Helena put on the top priority between the two organizations, and also inside China, they follow, our minister follow effort, and also the CAS also gave very high priority to support my visit. And as our ambassador mentioned that, there are two countries where we can lasting for 50 years, and also more faster for collaboration, because we are treat each other equally, collaboration, and also we share and benefit each other. This is a way where our two countries can bond together. Even geographically, we are far from each other, but physically are far, but in the soil is very close. Okay. And for myself, I learned a lot from Carlos. okay, for not only friendship, and also his wisdom, and also responsible and supportive. So now this time I bring my delegation is we want to set up and speed up the actual bilateral collaborations, not only science, but also talent exchange. So since my organization now name is CNCB, is one of the most important, extremely important new type of institutions in CAS, even in China. So organization is responsible for managing biodata from whole China, not only life science data, and also all other type of data, if related to life science and medical data and so on. So we are taking the leading role and managing role. That's why I want to come here to also need your support, okay, for make our capability or service more wider and more of friendship or country can benefit each other. Okay. So lastly, on behalf of CNCB, I think Helena and Carlos to put us on this very important events for 50 years anniversary. Probably after 50 years later, 100 years, we're still here. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Well, we now have a video from our Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation, Luciana Santos.
Minha querida amiga presidente Helena Nader, quero enviar o meu abraço a todos e todas que participam deste encontro tão importante. Não pude participar presencialmente, mas fiz questão de gravar esse vídeo e enviar minhas mais calorosas saudações a este encontro, promovido pela Academia Brasileira de Ciências, que celebra um marco significativo, os 50 anos de relações diplomáticas entre o Brasil e a República Popular da China. Ao longo dessas 5 décadas, construímos uma parceria sólida, que hoje se expande em áreas cruciais nos campos da ciência, tecnologia e inovação. Quero saudar especialmente o Dr. Yungui Yang, diretor do Centro Nacional de Bioinformação da China, por sua valiosa contribuição ao nos apresentar o trabalho do centro que coordena, e ao embaixador Zoom pela sua presença e pelo papel essencial que desempenha no fortalecimento dos laços entre nossos países. Estou certa que as discussões sobre cooperação científica e tecnológica em Big Data nas áreas biológica e médica serão de grande valor para todos nós, impulsionando novas colaborações que beneficiarão tanto o Brasil quanto a China. Desejo a todos um evento produtivo e inspirador, com a certeza de que este será mais um passo na construção de um futuro científico e tecnológico ainda mais promissor entre nossas nações.
And we will now hear from the Acting Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation, Professor Luis Fernandes.
Well, good afternoon. Is the mic's working? Yeah. I would like to greet Helena Nader, President of the Brazilian Academy of Science. This is the second event we have in 1 week, so it shows how important our collaboration between the Ministry and the Academy of Science is. I would like to greet Professor Yungui Yang here with us today and the entire Chinese delegation that has come with you here to this meeting. Carlos Morel and Carlos Aragão here that are with us at the opening session. I would like to greet the rector of Universidade Jataí from Goiás, Mônica Helborn from the State University of Rio de Janeiro, and all of you that are here physically and that are online watching our activities. We're celebrating 50 years of China-Brazil relations, and we have a lot to celebrate, especially in the area of science, technology, and innovation. But we also have to remember and regret that it took us 25 years to normalize relations between 1949 in 1974. And we did not normalize relations at that time because other countries' political and ideological agenda set us apart. And when we celebrate 50 years of normalization of relations between Brazil and China, we have to remember that because there are still those who try to separate us in 2024. So it is our role to strengthen, consolidate, solidify our mutual cooperation, which is in mutual benefit. And it is very important because we are two large countries with large territory, large population. Territory, China is larger than us, but it's not that large. Population, they have a much greater population than we have. 5 times. But they're two countries that have very important roles in the world. And we're celebrating here 50 years of China-Brazil relations, but the world is very different than it was in 1974. And that's a basic topic that we have to address in our cooperation and collaboration today. There have been major changes in global order. In economic terms, the center of economic dynamism in the world has shifted to the east, and China has a very important role in that shift. We reestablished relations, normalized relations in 1974. 4 years after that, China launched the 4 modernization program, which opened the path for intense and accelerated economic, technological, scientific, and social development in China, which is a major change which has reconfigured the international system. And we're very open to that reality, and we understand we have a lot to learn from the Chinese experience, and we have a lot to gain from mutual cooperation in science, technology, and innovation. As already has been mentioned in video or here by my colleagues that spoke before me, we have very important programs of scientific and technological cooperation, the main one being CBIS. Besides the signing of the CBIS 6 satellite, which, as mentioned, will now have a radar, which will give us greater capacity to monitor deforestation in the Amazon region. We also agreed upon launching within the CBIS program, a joint development of a new geostationary satellite, which is CBIS 5. So we're a very important qualitative leap, I would say, in our cooperation, this decades-long program of cooperation in satellite scientific and technological development. We also mentioned the very important collaboration that we developed during the pandemics for the vaccine program with Butantan Institute, which saved thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of lives in Brazil. So we're very grateful to that opportunity and to the social consequences, very positive social consequences that were an outcome of this. It was the first vaccine. I know people are from Fiocruz here, but Coronavac was first, wasn't it? Before. But we're all together in saving lives and promoting health. So this is a very, a very good competition. We're saying who saves more lives and who promotes more health. So that's a very, it's a competition that serves humanity instead of sacrificing health and life in the world. So it's a very important cooperation. So it's in this context that we're organizing this seminar, this event. And I would like to say that when we reestablished relations in 1974, as I mentioned before, the world map was different and the map of world science and technology was very different. So we, in consolidating our national science system, science and technology system, and our national postgraduate system, we tended to collaborate more closely with European countries and with the US, because that was the reality of the time. And we opened the path to explore cooperation with China, and the China-Brazil Earth Resources Satellite had a pioneer role in promoting that collaboration. But I must stress that our academies of science, the Brazilian Academy of Science and the Chinese Academy of Science, had and have a central role in promoting our scientific and technological cooperation, because they bilaterally and also through TWAS, they set up a number of programs which consolidated new avenues of cooperation. And that's what we are exploring here today in this seminar. And in an area that is of strategic importance for both countries, because we are launching a new development project for the country based on new industrial policy, which promotes as central pillars the area of health, research and development in health, and also digital transformation and artificial intelligence. They're both central pillars and common central pillars of our national development projects. So here is a very promising area of cooperation, which I'm sure this seminar will explore fully and generate very important and lasting results for both of our countries and for the world. So I congratulate you for Elena, Professor Yang, for this initiative, and I'm sure we will reap much benefit from the discussions that are going to be conducted here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we will now have a keynote from Professor Yungui Yang on potential avenues of cooperation in the fields of biological and medical big data. Maybe I invite you to go back to your seats. And Professor Yungui Yang, you have the floor.
Just wait a little bit. Let us leave the floor. Thank you so much.
I give an introduction about my organization, China National Center for Bioinformation. And the second part will be discuss of potential cooperations in the field of biological and medical big data. Before I start my speech, I want to introduce my colleagues, the delegation of CNCB coming together with me, as a Professor Wang Mingxia, and he is a professor in the data resource department. And Dr. Su Huiseng, and she is a director of bioinformatics service department of CNCB. And Professor Lan Jiang, he is a professor in the computational biology department. Right? Dr. Liu Ren, he is from the data resource department of CNCB. So, thank you. So now this is my speech title. Now second, so how to move on the slides is this. So is someone control for me or I control myself? Yeah, you have some control? Oh, good. Very good. So which up down? Oh, okay. Okay. So I want to give you some brief introduction about the geographical location of our new campus, the CNCB, China National Center for Bioinformation. As you can see, we have two locations. Okay, sorry. The red corner one is the Beijing campus, sitting in central Beijing. The northwest is another campus called the Wancheng campus. So it's one center, two campuses. Okay. Actually, these two campuses are not far from. Okay, good. Thank you. Very smart. Okay. So from here, we can driving by a car. Highway is around 190 kilometers. Okay, 2 hours, 15 minutes. We also can take a highway. It takes like 45 minutes. So Antonia, yeah? Carlos is considering them Antonia, okay. Professor Antonia, last week I bring him by car, by this highway, okay, to my new campus. And the Brazil delegation is the first group of visit have witnessed or almost completed infrastructure. Is the first one, okay. Okay, so now I want to give a short, brief introduction. The CNCB. So we are only not, CNCB itself is only 5 years old. But back to his mother, the institution we called BIG and BGI. I give you a brief introduction of history because in next week you will receive the visit from BGI. Okay. Okay. So simply the BGI is funded by in 1999 is because of the Human Genomic Project. So this BGI, you have to remember, is the Beijing Genomic Institute. Okay. And after the BGI finished 1% of human genome sequence, the Chinese government decided to establish an institute. This BGI is a company. Okay. The name is Beijing Institute of Genomics, CAS. So this belongs to the CAS institution. And when we move to 2019, oh no, sorry, something wrong. Okay. In 2007, the BGI moved to Shenzhen, the company separate. Before is like a one leadership, two name of organizations. Now in 2007, end of 2007, these two BGI and BIG separate. BIG stay in CAS, BGI moved to Shenzhen. Now they are very successful company. We are very proud of them. Okay. Now we are separated. Two leadership, two institutes, okay, one company, so on. But a big moment for BIG is in 2019. CAS assigned this CNCB entitled to BIG. And this year, in April, so CAS decided make CNCB independent from BIG. All the BIG transforming into CNCB. Okay, that's why my title is complicated. So I have two titles. Director of big CAS, still there, okay. Director of CNCB, okay. But now we are only use CNCB because all the big person transfer automatically into the new institution, okay, so CNCB. We no longer use big CAS for collaboration outside. We only use CNCB now. This is transforming. I will tell you a little more about how we make transforming by institute to be as the National Center for Bioinformation. Okay. I just go back a little bit about the 1% of genomics in 2001. Okay. Because of this great work have been done in China, so that's why we have the BIG, this kind of achievement. Okay, now So today I have, for the organization, my talk we divided into two parts. One is the mission of BIG, because we started our institute, BIG is 2003, okay? Until 2004 is like 21 years. I would finish one brief introduction, how institute have done, what about the mission, and then what difference of the mission of CNCP will be a second talk for the organization. So, at the beginning, when we established BIG, the mission is explore new series of methods and technology, like epigenetic regulation and complex trait analysis, to establish BIG as a research hub for genomics innovation. Okay, this myself also through over this developmental stage for CAS. BIG. I joined BIG is in 2008, the year after BIG separated. Okay, I stayed in the organization is over 16 years. 16 years. Now, second mission, I've also involved development of the mission, is to develop key technology for biological data, and also information storage management, knowledge discovery, and as an international center for bioinformatics sciences. The third mission is promoting transforming life omics. It's really to do, I can separate this organization, is once developing technology to retract omics data information from samples. Okay. Second one is to help make stored data, analyze data, developing bioinformatics tools. It's like, but all this information, knowledge is produced by individual PI, free, like even we have a mission, but most likely is free investigation. We are using principal investigator, not group or cohort study. Okay. Now at that stage, then use this mechanism. My colleague did very well. Okay, like since last year, 2003, we have hundreds of papers published in all type of kind of a journal. Okay, so on. Now I give a brief introduction about what about achievement in life science, in research and development. In the competition of biology, as we make a clarification, what about the aspect they're doing? One is cutting-edge omics technology development. Okay, the mainly related with single cell, special temperature development and applications tools. So Lanjiang, Professor Lanjiang is a specialist in single cell. He has a very magical technique with a low pressure. Okay. The second part is multi-dimensional omics computational computing systems. This really emphasizes on multi-omics in tumor immunology, ion splicing, and chromatin structure. This is the most fundamental one. And we also have AI-powered live machine mechanism decoding. It's really to do with aging and ion processing. Okay. In computational biology, this division, we also developing the omics big data governance and precision medicine applications. And we also involve the pathogenic rescue monitoring and early warning. Okay, we developing is constructed the COVID-19 database, which are providing a service for scientific committee to retrieve the data, analyze the data, and also developing tools. And the computational biology is also we have kind of complex trait analysis, really to do with molecular mechanism for genomic stability and cancer genetics and so on. This is from computational biology. One part of achievement is based on group study, but most of it is by professor's own group. Okay, this is. Then I want to share about the analysis tool development. One is the basic core technology, mainly to do with transcriptome and epitranscriptome, high resolution omic data analysis. And we also have AI and visualization. This is really to do with computational systems biology with AI, and also collective population and computational genomics. Use AI for single-cell omic data analysis. So this is our staff in the institute published a series of papers in the same year. We also have the big data and software ecology. There's many to do with bioinformatics and omics, and dynamics, regulation, chromatic, and so on. Okay, this is a true development, combining not only the mechanism paper, also the paper associated with analysis tools. But one more important achievement is data resources. So my center now, as a mission at the beginning of SBIG, we have a capability to manage multi-dimensional data resources. Now they have over hundreds of database, different diversity. Okay, and also the database has make a very good service for the community. And we also have human genetic data management. Particularly, we are the only one, most now is China National Commission designated platform. We are the only one allowed to maintain and receive and store and maintain the genetic data, human genetic data from China. We are the only one organization. And then also we have a bigger biological data eco chain from the very complicated, comprehensive data system. Okay. But one more, we are not only store data and developing tools, we also provide services. That's why in the since when get established, we have transforming the whole institute to become 6 working departments. One department is come from the bioinformation service. Now we call it bioinformation service department. It's mainly work on the planning, construction, training, and promotion the sub-center system. This is major in China. But now I give Professor Seng a new law about responsible for international cooperation. Okay, this part. Now this is the second part is a major interest on attention to introduce you. Okay, it's now how we from an institute BIG to be a national center CNCB. This come back the first few slides I introduce you. In 2019, CAS assigned BIG to establish China National Center for Bioinformation. Okay, this is back to 5 years ago. And then they give us 3 major objective. One is promote biodata archiving, storage management, and sharing, and perform front research of biodata. Okay. Third one is support translation and application of biodata. This objective very wide. Okay, and then we have to turn to executable mission. Then we have really specific target to how to move on and carry on the transforming from BIG to CAD to CNCB. Now we make a specific mission. One is as a biodata resource platform, and to collect, maintain biological data in China and worldwide. Okay, and also supporting the other nations' platform construction. Second one is about technology hub of standardized, systematically and efficient storage management and application for biological biodata. And the third mission is a front research base for biological big data science facing national needs, the innovative incubation carry of new tools, industries, and formats driven by bioinformatics, and build a high ground of talent cultivation. So when I take the leadership, my staff ask me, the they have more advantage to use everything. And then actually it's not that. Although it's changing, although it's a major is a supporting law, not say we support all research is a major supporting the community. Okay. And the last one is important with international cooperation is the windows for communication, cooperation and data sharing between China, the international famous center. This is also one major law. It's actually we not only, if I make it more simple, is data archiving globally and major now is major in China, developing tools ready for AI, and also have talent training, use we say technique, biological technique and informatical techniques, this kind of fusion, complex AI training, somehow. But more important, I say, is biodata exchanging. We are actually only one is come for national level, okay, to do this kind of exchange. I show you our website for service. So we actually at the beginning we learning a lot from other famous international database like NCBI, EBI. So we learn a lot, and we at the beginning, okay, they also taught us a lot how to construct a database, how to make the tools development. So also, of course, afterwards we developing a lot of our own database structure and also the analysis tools. Okay, this is just the web page for CNCB. But now I come to this most important slide. What I have done when Tang took over the directorship in last year, August, and I received the assign an order from CAS asking me to finish transforming BIG to CNCB. Okay. So when I take the leadership, we make the transforming. Actually, our bigger BIG is two key CAS labs. Okay. So all my professors, they are actually assigned to two key labs. One is the informatics lab, another is a precision medicine lab, and also one of the center, bigger data center. So actually it's 3. But now if we become CNCB, we're no longer managed by free study. Okay, we need to turn to a little infrastructure responsible for the bigger biodata management, archiving, and analyzing and service. So now the CAS approve, okay, my transforming. This is already approved. Now we are on the way to make everybody into the department, which is a fill in, okay. And we also recruiting new staff to fill in all the 6 in department. But we keep one department as a research division to conduct the world's scientific frontier research. This is to developing bioinformatics theory and technologies. So we call this department is computational biology department. This Professor Lanjiang is from this department. And then we have 3 technology development division. This is to establish a world-class bioinformatics resource system. Now I assign this particular division have 3 departments. The one is data resource department. Okay. This is a Professor Mingxia, it's come from this department. And the second one is tool development department. Okay. This is mainly developing tools and platform. And the third one is application development department. This is really to developing the applications related to the biosafety, life and health study and so on. But to make the CNCB more sustainable, and I also create one of operation service division. This is to provide standardized and professional bioinformatics services. We have 2 departments. One is operation and maintenance department. This is really managing infrastructure and information system security and stable operation. Okay, they have a group of scientists that specifically work on the service, okay, maintenance. And then the second department belongs to the division is Bioinformatics Service Department, which is Professor Su Hui-seng in charge of this department. This is really specialized public services in bioinformatics. Okay, so that's why we have really clean boundary for the infrastructure for the CNCB. They make us more efficient work on within our CNCB and outside CNCB. Okay. Now I'm going to quickly introduce about competition biology department, and I assign the missions and also what they have to do priority, okay, to address. I could facing the world's scientific front. This is a group of professors. I want to mention one sentence more is we have 22 full-time staffs in my center. Okay, and the average age is 38 years old. It's quite younger. We only have 5 staff retired. That's why we are quite younger. Okay, it's not because my name is young. It's actually a very young institute. The staff is very young, very energetic and talented. Okay, this is one department. Okay, then come to the data service department. Okay, and the data service department, okay, it's here. It's gather and integrate biological data domestically and globally. And also we have a full chain management system from data deposition, correlation, annotation, and integrative analysis, public sharing, developing multi-dimensional data platform and key technology. And then this department is charged by Professor Zhang Zhang. The Su Hui also cross-talk in between 2 departments. Okay. Now we go to introduce our 3rd department. I also assign the 2 department mission. Okay. But this mission list we change every year. It's not to say we stay for long because in some areas developing too fast. Okay, we will choose the most priority, most important task to finish. Okay, this is the particularly missions. Then we have also asked them list the most challenging front in this area. Then they assign other staff to work on that. So the department head is Professor Zhang Zihua. Okay, myself is also here and under Professor Zhang's leadership. Okay, within the department. Okay. Then we come to our the 4th department is application development. The department we also assign the mission for the development. This part is the department is led by Professor Mingkun Li. The mainly developing system applied in the field of precision medicine, biosafety, risk monitoring and early warning, and also analyze complex biological traits and so on. Okay. Actually, this department we use the data source and tools development from the other departments. Okay, combine. Okay. Then we have bioinformatics service department. So it's headed by Su Hui here. And I also assign they have mission. So responsible for user service, bioinformatics service, and technical training related to all this CNCB data. Okay. So, and they are doing very good job. And also they are responsible for international corporations for actual training. Then we have one more, the operation and maintenance department. This is, as just mentioned, is for gather and integrate biological data. It's not this one, sorry. Yeah, so yes. Yeah. Actually, why we need to set up this department? Because, and later on I will show you, we have the most huge, biggest, I would say, bioinformatics infrastructure in China in life science. So we need to have a special department, particularly look after all this infrastructure, software, hardware, web security, and so on. So this is a particularly important department. And now I told you we have 6 departments. This is the only department which is responsible for all these hard codes, hardware and infrastructure. But all the another 5 departments only for the mission they have to assign, either data or tools or developing or training or cooperation. So that's why we have left kind of maybe 5% staff work on the routine, like we call it dirty work, right? They need to watch out all the system function or not. They need to look after whether the other 5 department has enough storage space. The other side scientist has efficient access, sufficient computational analysis condition for all the users. Okay, that's why. So all the staff in the other 5 departments, they can really concentrate on the hard work again, the real job. This is my 6 department. But one more is the more exciting part. Yeah, I say just Antonia, okay, Angela took them to this place. Actually, when I take the leadership, okay, it's this year, at the end of May, we dig the first soil in the ground. But just last week, we almost finished. I would say 95%. Yeah. So end of October, finish everything. Okay. So yeah, thank you. 5 months, we finish everything. Okay. Yeah, it's transforming. It's very, very, very fast. Okay. No, I think it's okay. 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 And then if you look afterwards, it looks like. That's why we feel exciting. Afterwards, this campus, this is phase 1, okay. In phase 1, we will have 650 petabyte storage source and 40 petabyte PB computing sources. And also we have a domestic network is 100 GB. International network is 10 GB. This is phase 1. Now I'm start work on the phase 2, okay. But phase 2, I cannot put the phase 2 in the same location. Then I'm looking for other part of China for the phase 2, okay. This infrastructure is quite exciting. We get involved from the ground, flat ground become a building, a tall building. Okay. Then now I'm going to talk about introduce the growing of genomic database established by my colleague in data resource department. Okay, they work very hard and very excellent staff. And actually, if you look at back to 8 years ago, when Su Hui, as an associate professor, right, at that moment, we only have 6 databases. And when we decided to transform and start and really look on this way, then they work very hard, drive very fast. Now it's over 100 databases now. Okay, that's why these 6 databases provide a very important foundation for the 2019, when China government looking for an agency or institute capable to take over the established CNCB, and even CAS, and a central CAS, and a CAS looking for institution who can take over the CNCB. They found we are doing the job. even small amount of database, but still better than nothing. Okay. Then we have this important job. Now turn to this kind of transforming. It's a bigger database is ongoing, and they're increasing a lot. Okay. Now I introduce what you can say. Our database is from the beginning we only can do priority database. Now we are really have a very comprehensive data resources platform over the after 8 years. Okay, started from 2016. Now, for example, we have omics database. This is also general one. Particularly important one is GSA, genomic sequence archival. Okay, gene base and also others. We also have a very specialized database this like dog and also COVID-19, non-COVID, and also we have literature database associated with our data and also analyze tools and so on. But I will say particularly important job is our open lab is literature. When you search one literature, then automatically all the data which in the paper we automatically connected with database. And when you're looking for the database, you will see the red panel column you associate the publication. What is the data associated with publications? So make the user very easy, you know. They don't need to go to the two database, only one database. They have everything. So in one web page. Okay. But also, because my colleague did a good job, so now one of the database called GSA is endorsed by international publisher. Okay. Like we know that like a Nature public group and also Science and Cell and so on in life science. Okay. This is a very good movement. And recently, we also become a global core biodata resource. This is a new data resource community, I would say, the unions. And international organization, we know, we have also international called ISDC. ISDC established by NCBI, EBI, and Japan DDBG. They have ISDC. Now, the EBI director established another union, they called GCBR, and we are very proud to be the first one of the member with the very first, union. Okay. And I introduce another capability. We also have integration of international data like gene base. Okay, I don't go repeat the details. So, okay, this is easy. You can find in the website. Okay. Now we come to database. I make a list is COVID-19. So this is established mainly as a by Suhui. So this provides genomic sequences, metadata, sequence variations, literature and tools. I think I want to make the example. This is particularly important, like a sub area, important question, important resources, and widely used. So we can make a separate database. So like this is kind of an integrative and a comprehensive database. Okay, they cover all the aspects or topic we are interested in, and have a huge impact. Okay, this database is very successful. Okay, very successful. We are not only for data storage and saving or archiving. We also developing tools to analyze and searching. So, like now we have a tool called Big Search. We connected NCBI, EBI, and also some partner database. Okay, so that's why this is like a collective the search engine. Okay, for research, it's quite useful. So if you want to find some key information, you type of keywords, and then you have all this collective information by all this database. You don't need to go each database. The feedback we give you all the whole list, punch out list. They will give a top priority, which one is more related, which one less. So in the one button, you'll see everything. Okay, and very good. Okay, but not today. And more important for me is last part, talk about our international cooperation. We call it as 1+X, global data sharing and bioinformatics service network. Okay. This one is the best one unit we call International Biodiversity and it has big data alliance, the BHBD. Now we have 35 members units from 17 countries. Okay. And this is also supported by IUBS and ANSO. Okay. And our plan is through the BHBD build a mutual, like a beneficial kind of a 1+ global data sharing, storing and bioinformatics service network. Okay. To develop partners and enhance international influence.
We have to put South America in the map.
Yes. No, not yet. We do that. Okay. You have that. You are initial funder. Yeah, you are initial funder.
That 11 is the vice president of.
Yes. I know. Yeah. Yeah, you are initial funder here, so we are proud of it here. Yeah, I will show you the picture. Okay. Yeah, they are associated with IDC and IUBS and also ANSO. So the number is increased quickly. Yeah, quickly. Okay, this is when our institute established BHBD. Okay, is October 14, 2008. Okay, yeah. So now over the 6 years, we are through 5 countries become 17 countries and 35 members. Okay, but in the future, my idea is we want to collaborate with our partner, and we do together use your own language. Okay, establish the biodata service system use your own language. Okay, not in English, not in Chinese, but in your own language. Okay, then can help you young scientists and can access, to study biodata science use your own language. That will be more easy, let people benefit. Okay, this is one direction we are going to do that. Okay, this is a punch of picture. My colleague has worked very hard to make the BHBD platform to expand in the partnership, increase the people training in outside China. Okay, like this. Okay, they did a very good job. Yeah, this is associated with ANSO. Okay, and importantly, during the pandemic, the BHBD is a good platform to fight against COVID-19. Okay, then I would say, particularly with the BHBD, one of beneficial in China, ANSO and most, CAS, and also China National Commission for Health and so on. We will have all these important grant promote kind of international corporations. This is just make example how our partners work together, co-apply grants and get funded. I'm very proud of our Professor Su Hui, collaboration. Anna got one of the grants. Yeah, very helpful, very supportive. Okay. Now we come to very important part. Our CAS collaboration with Brazil, particularly with our Brazilian Academia Sciences. Okay, is also as an ambassador and also minister mentioned that is an important partner of our CAS building China. So I back to this MOU. Okay, and if you look at the actual directly related to my organization, I'm very happy to see my former director, okay, Xu Yingbiao, and together with Carlos, yeah. And here you have and also they visit faculty with colors. But the more recent one is last year, and a delegation of Brazil led by Carlos visit us. And when Thomas Carlos visited me, this land is much I would say not clean up yet, or just low land. Okay, after you left, we start dig out, clean up the ground and become the picture I show you. And more important is interesting. Just mid of October last week, Antonia and Angela, and I took them to the construction site. They are on the top tower, to watching all the building, how they constructed and finish on the process. This is the first delegation, not only in international but also in China. This is the first one to watch out. We almost finished the stage of the building. Okay. The lastly few slides. And then we need actually, I will give an example how we make a cooperation, not only sign MOU, but important to have long-term strategic planning for talent and grant application to make a sustainable development. I give an example. We have the joint research of BRICS programming for SARS-CoV-2. Okay. Now I show you Annie's picture here. Okay, you are here with Su Hui. You have an online meeting, right? And we are happy to receive visit. Yeah, last year is also October, right? Okay. Yeah. And then we have more co-visit and collaboration. And I will introduce the platform, what we can do in the coming future. Okay, it's in CAS. In CAS, we have all set of different international fellowship initiative called PAFI. Okay, like we have a distinguished professor and a PAFI ambassador and young leaders, and also we have media scientists. We also have a PAFI group scientists. Okay, all type of scientists. We just need to find the idea and make the people sit down together, discuss common idea. Then we submitted our application to CAS. Then we most likely should get granted. Okay. This is one way we see how we can support each other from CAS itself. And then we also have international talents program from MOST. So I just give an example. We have also other type of international cooperation from MOST. One is Talent Young Scientist Program. Okay, it's to support the international outstanding young scientists, scholars research from short-term research in China. Okay, the during 6 months or 1 year. Okay, but the CAS, I show you in last previous slide, the CAS project, some of them can have more than 3 years. Okay, so and also renewable. Okay. Yeah, and then we want to show a rough idea about collaboration interest, come this time. One is, of course, we need to promote exchanges and visitors of academia staff and students. Yeah, we showing if this non-conventional one, then we can share each other. Okay. Also, scientific research cooperation. The second one is enhance cooperation in building bioinformatics and biodata sharing networks. The third one is explore opportunities for collaborating on funding research program, and also discuss. Now we are coming here cooperation in frontier and interdisciplinary field of life science, particularly AI for health. We are also driving for AI direction, particularly for our data resource department. We are archiving and sorting, cleaning up the data, become AI ready. Okay, we are doing this job. To supporting all this mission I took, not only domestic mission or the international mission. So we need to have a very strong infrastructure. I made a summary about our infrastructure. What we can see in the future, okay, in 2017, we will have a very competitive infrastructure to facing the challenge for increase biodata volume. So I show you example. When we have named the CNCB, the start of 2019, if you look at the data resource database, and also tools, storage capacity, computational resources, and the network and brand awareness and so on. These are capability back to 5 years ago. But now we are on the stage. We increase like database and also like another tools, storage capacity, and also the computational capability. But we look at 2017, we will have more, okay, this is phase one. But I believe we should have that one already, like this infrastructure ability, no later than middle of 2006. As I show you, we finish infrastructure end of October. Then next year middle, we finish all inside the declaration and start moving all these equipments. We start learning end of probably early 2006. Then probably my job, we can make ahead 1 year. But at the end of 2006, we should have already the capability. I think we have this kind of confidence. Okay, so okay, last one. So welcome to join BHBD and sign MOU with CNCB, and then we can have promote collaboration, talent change, so together and then move on and have a mutual benefit and increase our usage and for the big biodata make a more useful application, okay, for not only for science and also for the healthy care and also policy maker and so on, okay, make the biodata really function useful. Thank you. This is all my talk. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Yungui Yang. We will have the discussions at the end. So we will now have 4 presentations to discuss potential avenues of cooperation. So I would like to invite Professor Carlos Morel to be the first speaker from the Center for Technological Development and Health from the Oswaldo Cruz Foundation. 15 minutes, and with 10, I'll let you know that you have 5.
I'm not really going to make a presentation, just some comments and explain a bit why we think this visit from Professor Yungui Yang is so important. First time I heard about his organization was in 2001, when the Human Genome Project was published. And it took over Science and Nature, Science the private sequencing, Nature the public sequencing. At that stage, his organization was responsible for 1% of the Human Genome Project. That was regarded so important that Bill Clinton, when he was presenting the results of the Human Genome Project, he made clear how important was the 1% sequence collaborating from the Chinese. Also, there was something very funny, because for the Chinese to do that accomplishment, they had to buy some 100 machines from the West, and they did sequencing using imported machines, and no one was considered that it would be so serious in the long run. When you see today how much they progressed, not only sequencing, but only in data analysis, so I think we have the correct perspective of how things move quickly in China. As I told you, how I came to know Professor Yang. By luck, we were nominated both to this committee in WHO. And it was very clear that both of us were very heavily based on science. For several meetings, the meeting started to drift to politics, and it was very interesting to see how we were in the same tune in terms of we need good science. When I visited his institution last year in September, together with my colleague Rodrigo Correa, who was vice president of Fiocruz, unfortunately died 2 weeks after that visit, we realized that this center could be a window for Brazil to engage in international collaboration. So we started to negotiate with him, coming here and explaining a bit, because in 2019, the agreement that was signed there, at that stage I was one member of the scientific committee of LNCC. And I had a quick conversation with those. He was not here in 2019. All his colleagues were here. And we saw, okay, this connection with LNCC is quite good and supercomputing, but we need to do something about biology and medicine. That's something that, although Anna is someone from the area of biology and genome, she's a very good student from Darcy, Fontoura de Almeida, our colleague. But anyway, that was very restrict, and he said, Fiocruz cannot be outside this initiative. So, meeting him in Geneva, I said, okay, that's the opportunity to bring a good collaboration direct with him. Also, since then, we start collaborating in several other areas. Recently, with the Fundação Getúlio Vargas, Professor Claudio Struckiner from the group of supercomputing. But when the pandemics came, in fact, we were through several pandemics. We had dengue, we had chikungunya, we had Zika, and then we had the explosion of COVID. I was directing a National Institute of Science and Technology, which was, in the beginning, focused on neglected tropical diseases. But the pressure of pandemics, particularly Zika, when Zika arrived in my hometown, it was the big epidemics of microcephaly. It was a real catastrophe. You see all those mothers with these kids, microcephaly, and Recife was the epicenter. And Fiocruz was so active that one of our scientists, Professor Selina Turki, who discovered this new kind of microcephaly, she was appointed by Nature at the end of the year as one of the top 10 scientists in the world. She was called Zika Detective. You see, so pandemics entered in Fiocruz very quickly. Claudio Struckiner, he was here, he was the one that convinced the global community that they could come to the Olympics here. Because there was something, no, we should cancel the Olympics because Zika is going to contaminate everybody. And it was a group led by Claudio Struckiner who made a paper, said, you can come, we guarantee there will be no Zika in August. And this was a reaction against a letter signed by 100 people claiming not to come to Brazil. See? So pandemics really strong accord in us. After Zika, we were surprised with COVID. And COVID, among other things, we had problems to work because Zika and chikungunya, you can work on level 2 of safety, biosafety lab. COVID is level 3. So it was a real complicated matter how to put everybody in a level 3 laboratory. But at the end, we said, okay, we can do everything, but now we are stuck in sequence analysis, we're stuck in computer power. So we said, now we have to move strongly in this area. So the opportunity to bring Professor Jung here was exactly for that. We hope that with his collaboration, and in fact, he's going to represent more than his institution. Some of his colleagues in BGI and BIG are also in close connection with him. And next week, we are going to have the co-founder of BGI here. And he's going to visit Fiocruz to see some of what work we've been doing in diagnostics. One idea is to have one now for flexible labs of the new center to host centers from his institution or from the BGI, and also some other, we are in negotiation with some other areas. But I would like to stimulate you to talk to him. In addition, on Thursday we go to Petropolis, but also would like very much that Claude Strukene from FGV talks to him, see how we could get collaboration. So let us profit. It's not every day that we get such a huge center coming here offering collaboration. So I decided not to make a presentation, but just to stress the importance to have someone of the capacity of his institution talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Carlos Morel. I would now invite Professor Arnaldo Lopes Colombo and Professor Carlos Kiefer from the Antimicrobial Resistance Institute of São Paulo, CEPI de Aris. They will be sharing their time.
Hello. I would like to greet and to pay my respect to Professor Helena Nader, all the authorities, academics, and colleagues from the CNCB that came to Brazil. I will need just 3 minutes to present our institute. We recently received a grant from FAPESP to create a multidisciplinary ecosystem to combat antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance was selected by WHO as one of 10 priorities for public health. If we don't move fast in combating antimicrobial resistance, in 2050, we are going to have more death related to infections caused by multi-drug-resistant pathogens than cancer. Then we created this ecosystem. I'm sure we can collaborate in multiple aspects with the CNCB. And I asked Carlos Kiefer, that's MD, PhD, infectious disease doctor that was in charge to make the interface between biomedicine and the engineers we have in the institute. I believe interacting with them is going to be more easy for you than for me, that's an infectious disease who runs a lab. Thank you, Carlos, for coming.
Thank you very much. Can I have the presentation, please? So firstly, thank you, Professor Nader and the organizers and the Brazilian Academy of Science and also the Chinese Academy of Science. It's a pleasure to be here. We were asked to represent ARIES, which is the Antimicrobial Resistance Institute of São Paulo, and to present some of our initiatives in building a social environmental observatory to tackle antimicrobial resistance. So that's what we are presenting here. It's just a glimpse of what we're doing so far. We have started building this social environmental observatory in the past 6 months. So let me see if I can, here. So as Professor Colombo said, antimicrobial resistance, we have no time to wait. We have to act right now. It's a global priority. And it is estimated that by 2050, we will have more deaths associated to antimicrobial resistance than deaths associated with cancer. I'm not very happy to say that these estimates are already a little bit old. So we have advanced a little bit in that. So there are many studies right now showing that probably around 2030 or 40, we'll be reaching this this level of deaths associated to antimicrobial resistance. So having said that, the Antimicrobial Resistance Institute of São Paulo was created by a grant called CEPID, sponsored by FAPESP. It's a multi-institutional initiative. Professor Colombo already said a little bit about it. And the missions of the ARIES Institute, which is a mission of research, innovation, and diffusion center, is to establish a consortium of experts in distinct areas of knowledge to detect or characterize, strategically propose new interventions to mitigate the emergence, persistence, and the spread of AMR, antimicrobial resistance, and pathogens. The Institute is highly committed to generate cutting-edge knowledge to be transferred to the society through education, improvement of public policies, and new economic enterprises for combating AMR. And I believe this is the reason we see many paths on which we could collaborate with the CNCB, the Chinese Academy of Science also. I will just show you a glimpse of what we're doing so far, because there are 5 main pillars of ARIES, which are described here. The first one, on which I'm going to present a little bit of it for you, is a social environmental observatory in the Data Science Center. But there is also microbiology evolution, new strategies to combat and to tackle AMR, R&D, diffusion to the community and to general public. I'll just present a little bit of the social environmental laboratory. So to start with the challenges on building a social environmental observatory and data science center for AMR, I like to use this picture because when we talk about antimicrobial resistance, we usually only see the top of the iceberg. We don't see what is beneath the level of our sites. So, and we usually, when we talk about antimicrobial resistance, we see data that are related to humans in hospitals or to humans in their homes, but we are not really able to see what's happening beneath, which is probably the main drivers of resistance as we see today. So I just represent here the food chain and the agriculture and the environment itself. So this is one of the challenges, to put together all different levels of data to tackle and to have a social economic observatory. But again, there are other challenges, even if we talk about human health, as mentioned earlier by Professor Nader here in the table, the presenting table. The Brazilian health system, just to give you an overview, is quite complex. So we do have more than 40,000 basic health units in the country, somewhere around 6,000 hospitals, somewhere around 440,000 hospital beds, and more than 22,000 laboratories spread all over the country, and 791 of them are public health laboratories, and 27 are central laboratories. Fiocruz is one of them, is a central public laboratory with more than 5,000 municipalities, and it's a large country, so a lot of data being generated all the time. So what I say is that we do have the data, we don't have the information. So Brazil is a country where we really do have the data, but the information, transforming that data into solid information for us to tackle whatever area that we need, is still in its beginning. So our experience in the past semester with the Social Environmental Observatory, I'll just give you a general idea of the architecture and structure that we're putting together. Of course, there are other people besides me that are putting together this infrastructure, and some example of results, very simple results that we have so far. Just mentioning that we have started doing this work from February to now, so it's very preliminary results. So basically, what we plan to put together is a general database for the ARIES project, which will be convened and represented here by different levels, or as we say, camadas, of open public database, closed public database, closed private databases, and also research projects. I can give you examples of that. So open public databases, we do have geographic data that can be used as a linkage for any other level of data that we have, climate and environmental, social demographic, census tracts, developmental index, health, national morbidity and mortality data. There are many data in the data in our national systems that may be used to generate relevant information. There are also closed databases that can be used. Some of them are in the hands of the Ministry of Health. Some of them are with Anvisa. Some of them are also related to Ministry of Agriculture. Some of them, you may know some of them. You may work with some of them, but we're trying to put together all of them to give different levels of information and to be able to develop models of prediction. There are also very important closed private databases, as we say, the hospital information systems and the laboratory information systems, as well as antimicrobial consumption data, which are market audits. They are very relevant data that we usually don't use here in the country, but they are available at certain costs or at certain difficulties, but they are available. And also the research projects here, we could mention many metagenomic researches that are being done by our groups within CEPID or outside CEPID. I'm not going to show you data on this one. I'm just going to give you an example on what we are working on disease burdens in humans. So using public databases, it's only a very preliminary data, as I mentioned. We could go through many different levels here. If you have doubts, I can discuss that later. So we have chosen models to work with disease burdens. I'm just presenting to you in general ideas how to work with the disease burden initiatives. There are many forms of doing that. There's a top-down model for doing that, which is, as I say here, the image speaks more than words. So if you go very high and you look down, so you have a general idea of what's happening with your population. This has been published and it's been very important to guide us on what to do. But there's also bottom-up initiatives, and we decided to start from here. There are not many models available for us to follow here, so we have to develop some of those models. But that's more, although it's let's say it's a less complex estimates, it's more favorable for a national policy. So it helps more national policies or local policies. We have chosen to work with 4 different diseases so far: sepsis, bloodstream infections, urinary tract infections, and pneumonias. All of them so far, we're looking only hospitalized patients. That's a Venn diagram just to show you how we imagine these diseases to be happening within hospitalizations. So we do have them intermingled. Someday we'll be able to separate them. And we have so far an example of what we have done with sepsis. So we have found in the state of São Paulo that from 2013 to 22, more than 24 million hospitalizations, of around 450,000 hospitalizations with sepsis, so associated with sepsis, not necessarily directed by sepsis, but associated with sepsis, and around 240,000 deaths associated with sepsis during hospitalization, which we call lethality. And what was interesting is that we have seen, just to go directly to this map, that hotspots for hospitalizations with sepsis are not necessarily the same hotspots that we see with lethality. So you may have municipalities that don't have a lot of hospitalizations, but have a lot of lethality. So that's quite important for us to initiate modeling on that. So we're not talking about AMR so far. We're talking about the disease, but there's no way to talk about AMR without talking about the disease. So we're starting with the first level. We have also seen increasing trend of hospitalizations, but a stable trend of lethality. So that also tells us something. So we have more diagnoses for some reason, more patients with sepsis for some reason, but the death didn't change so far. So we're investigating the root cause for that. but that's the first model just to explore the problem. We have also looked into other diseases. This is a very preliminary data with urinary tract infections. We have seen so far in the same period around 600,000 hospitalizations with urinary tract infection, most of them in pyelonephritis, so it's a complicated urinary tract infections. And so far, by very simple algorithms, we estimated somewhere around 460,000 caused by E. coli, and somewhere around 78,000 to 91,000 quinolone resistant. So this is a glimpse on what may be happening with AMR. And we didn't go through the genomics here, but we plan to reach the genomics in the future. So it's just the basic levels on which we may build information on other relevant information for tackling AMR. So this is a glimpse of the social, economic, environmental data center that we have. So far, building a social environmental observatory is complex, needs cooperation, coordination, requires cooperation. It's not possible to do it only with a single institution. The ARIS is open to cooperation in exchanging experience and views in multilateral collaboration in microbiology and data science. And we think it's possible, so let's do it. Thank you very much.
I now invite Professor Ana Teresa Ribeiro de Vasconcelos from the Bioinformatics Lab from the National Laboratory for Scientific Computing, LNCC.
Thank you very much. We have a presentation, but I think Dr. Yang has already shown almost the slide that the picture from our collaboration. But I am Ana Teresa. I'm working in the Bioinformatics Labs in the National Laboratory for Scientific Computation. That is one of Institute of the Ministry of Science and Technology, represented here by Dr. Luis Fernando. And we started the bioinformatics next year. We are here celebrating the 5th year of the collaboration of China and Brazil. We are celebrating also the collaboration with BIG, the 5 years, BIG and CNCB for the past 5 years, and happy to sign again the MOU for the next 5 years. But our lab, we will celebrate 25 years next year working genomics and bioinformatics in Brazil. So we are participating from the second genome that has been sequenced in Brazil. The first was Chilela, that has been sequenced by São Paulo, the network from São Paulo, and the second one was from the Brazilian network, genomics network, that included 23 labs spread all over the country. And I would like to talk that. It's what's not in my plan, because the first time I went to China, it was in 2003, 2004, in a mission from the Ministry of Science and Technology at this time. And then we saw the sequencing model. They had 200 ABI in the same building in the BGI. That this time it was BGI. And you had 200 sequences. And in Brazil, we had 25 sequences, the same. So the difference for us is very difficult. But we are able to sign an agreement at this time to work together in the Rice Genome Project. So in some labs in Brazil, work together with China for the sequence some variety from the rice in comparing the data. So I think the genomics and bioinformatics start at this time in the past. And then we continue to collaborate, but the next, please. Oh, no. So we signed 5 years ago our MOU with Yimingba, the oldest director, and Gadelha, it was the former director in the past. And we signed this that finished in the last September. So I'm so happy that we are here, and in less than 1 month, we will continue our collaboration. And during this visit, we visit also Fiocruz. Here, we had some seminar at LNCC from the Brazil and the China side, but we also have the time to visit the Sugarloaf. And we start this collaboration in 2019. I went to China to start the collaboration, bring some talks, and I had the opportunity to go to the Forbidden City with 2 students. That was very nice afternoon. And one thing that it's very nice when I went there is to dialogue with the students, to see the reality and the opportunity that they had in Beijing. And then you have already talked about that. After this collaboration, we had the opportunity, I think this is important for Brazil, for Fiocruz, we had the opportunity to open in this initiative for the open biodiversity and health and big data. As LNCC is a center for the big data, we are working for a lot of data, and also the lab, the bioinformatics lab, is involved in many projects related on health and biodiversity. I think this opportunity to work together, it was very nice. We start in 2019, but in 2020 we started the pandemic. So we had many calls and many meetings online. But we had this opportunity that was very good, because it's a program that was coordinated here in Brazil by the Ministry of Science Technology, and the CNPq was the one that supported financial this project. But the more important thing that I thought for this project is to work together for the 5 countries of the BRICS at the same time. So the project was to sequence genome, the SARS-CoV genome, but also to study the epidemiology and the mathematical modeling for the COVID-19. And we are able to work with Brazil here, the Red virus, but also the South Africa, India, Russia, and the China. And it was the Beijing, the BIG, and the CNCB that are involved in this project. And it was very nice because we had a month meeting, and every month at 6 o'clock here in Brazil, we had this meeting. So we had the opportunity to understand and to know how is the variants, how many variants are arriving in each country, how is the number of deaths, and exchanging a lot of information. That was very important for us here in Brazil, and I think for the other countries too. And then one of the things that, besides the article that we are published together, we are asked the Chinese people for this database. They ask us to submit the data that we generated the lab. So at the end, we are sent we are including in your database more than 6,000 genomes that has been analyzed together with the people from the CAS to BIG. And so this a lot of opportunity continue the following years. In 2021, it has been online, but in 2022, we have this project with Dr. Song. I'm very proud, happy that she's here, and we start to sign this collaboration with the BHBD and also. And we start in the virtual meeting that you have already talked about that. And when I was present there last year, we start with the meeting for the first presential meeting in the institute. So that's it. That is the photo for the last meeting. And now I'm very happy that we will sign on Thursday at LNCC. I'm not talking about LNCC here because we will be there, present there on Tuesday, and I hope we can continue. We will sign this new version. And I think we have a lot of opportunities in Brazil. And also, I think that's very important. I have collaboration also with Arnaldo and Faisal in the antimicrobial resistance. We work together in the metagenomics. We have sequencing analyzing in the 5 regions in Brazil. It was a beautiful project. And I think this is one. I talk about metagenomics in the last year. I think that is one thing that we can do together and aggregate the data, construct more database, and with Claudio Struchini maybe perform the mathematical modeling to analyze this data. So Elena, thank you very much. Thank you, Morel, for that, and thank you, Elena, to realize this meeting here at the Academy.
Thank you, Ana Teresa. Our last speaker before the discussion will be Professor Claudio Struchini from the Getúlio Vargas Foundation and the State University of Rio de Janeiro.
So thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity to be here. Thank you, Morel, for the kind words that you mentioned. I need to say that it's important to remember that I was only able to gather those people together because you were the president of the Oswaldo Cruz Foundation at the time, and you helped me in putting them together. Thank you, Dr. Yang, for the very inspiring talk, showing us the long pathway that we still have ahead of us. And that is always the case, a long journey. We start a long journey with our first step. So this is a very good example and a very inspiring example. I don't have any slides to show. I had agreed with Morel that we were not going to present any slides, so I didn't bring any slides with me. But I guess I do have something as important as slides of labs, or even more important, which are our undergraduate students. So we brought our undergraduate students, so they are there making 3 rows of this audience. And it's very motivating for me because the first time I was in this auditorium, I was an undergraduate in the medical school at the Federal University of Rio. And I am now being able to realize to make a dream come true, which is to bring a second generation, another generation of undergraduate students to be here. And this is what we have to offer. We have to offer their brains and their motivation and their eagerness to work and collaborate with us in all aspects of mathematics, statistics, and computer science. And I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Cesar Camacho, who is the head of the EMAP, the mathematics school at FGV, and who is investing heavily in inviting those students and also to making my life easier in create and putting together a second generation of researchers in this area. Okay, now to the ideas. So if I had to summarize the ideas I would like to share with you, I would use the expression data integration. And I was very happy to see that in almost every slide in Dr. Yang's presentation, data integration was there. So I guess this is one of the main challenges that we have ahead. And of course, Dr. Yang's group made extremely important inroads in this direction. But I think that this is one area in which we can make even more progress. So given my my background in epidemiology, one idea is that we are very, very careful about the meaning of the word association. And one thing that we have to have in mind when doing this data integration is to identify the causal aspects that we have in there. So we can make sure that any suggestion, any intervention that we come up with, that we suggest to the world, those interventions would actually have a final impact on what we are trying to control. So the second idea is the idea of the several levels in which this data integration would be necessary, and several data sources were mentioned. But we also have to keep in mind additional data sources like social behavior, the network structure in the population, and the immune response. So we have to find a way in which this data integration would accommodate all those data sources. And one final aspect is how to report that. And one idea that is becoming each time more concrete is the idea of synthetic models, which is the idea in which we could capture this very complex association in one synthetic model in a way similar to what we see in large language models like ChatGPT and Gemini and so on. So the idea would be to have a model that we could interact with in the same way that we interact with ChatGPT nowadays. But this synthetic model would capture this structure of all the omics, all the social network, all the immune response, all the climate change, and all those sources. Okay, so there are some inroads in this direction, and we can see in the literature some of this activity, and I think that this would be an important step to take. So I will be much briefer than my predecessors. We are all tired, and so this was the ideas that I have to share with you. Thank you very much.
Let me invite the panelists to join the table so we can have an open discussion. Professor Helena Nader will chair that.
Eu acho que se a gente puxar, essas cadeiras matam. Falta mais uma. Well, I'm going to start by thanking each one of the panelists for the presentations, and I would guess that would be interesting to start among you panelists and then open for the audience, because I think would be important. For me, it seemed that several collaborations are already going on, and that among scientists from Brazil and China regarding the center, but also very important collaborations among scientists here in Brazil on the topic. And I think that's very important for us to build a roadmap for us. How many people, how many institutions are enrolled in this type of research? And I'm going to finish. There is something that President Lula said when we presented to him the Brazilian plan for artificial intelligence. And that was about, 2 or 3 months ago in July, I think. And during the 5th conference on science, technology, and innovation, in order to set up the future for this area. And it's very typical of Lula. Why artificial intelligence? I want human intelligence. I want an artificial intelligence that will dialogue with humans. And he said that I'm saying this because several of the Brazilians pointed out for the difficulties on having access to some of the data. And he said that his wish is to get everything so that you don't have the how do you call the ones that do the fiscal year? They have a data that's of them. Then you have the data from the SUS, the data from the geographic location, and so on. He wants to have all of this together. So let's ask him to start also a collaboration with this big enterprise, just making not a joke, but playing around with, that you started in China. He's going to be our president until 2026, and you are planning to have the new computer by 2027. So in the way that you rush things, I think you'll be able to have it before that. And I want you guys to discuss future collaborations, and I want to thank each one of you for being here today. Sorry. Nobody. Arnaldo, please.
Hello? Yes. And Dr. Yang, congratulations for all the achievements. The question I have for you is, what kind of initiative you have in terms of talking about integration, what kind of initiative you have in terms of getting data, clinical data, outcomes, specific cohorts of patients to be able to give to have new insights in terms of omics, either of the pathogen or of the human being that has been victimized by any question that you want to address, either cancer, infectious disease, or whatever. Do you integrate clinicians and basic scientists in this database?
Não pode desapertar.
So I don't know, President Elena. So we are internal discussion, right? Not this moment is internal, right? Yeah, I can see. It's not broadcasting, right? It's just internal.
Yes.
Okay, no outside information, right?
Oh, no, it's being
Just inside.
inside Brazil.
Not in the YouTube, right?
No.
Okay, then I can speak more about
It
this.
is in the YouTube, so.
We can discuss later on.
Okay.
If you...
No, I think if you want to do discussion, it's better just internal discussion, and we don't send out information outside.
Okay.
So I don't know what we are broadcasting now or just, I don't know.
Não sei, vocês é que sabem.
It's in or on, I don't know. 在播吗? I suggest we should cut off the broadcasting.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll do this.
Yeah.
For the ones that are assisting us, watching on the YouTube, we are going to have now a session just among the people that are present here.
Yeah.
And we want to thank, I don't know how many are on the YouTube. Já que você falou, Marcos, quantos são? Por favor, me dá a informação.
Tem perguntas?
E se tem alguma pergunta para panelistas diferente, por favor. Pode falar em português, é para mim. Ok, pergunta se tem alguma pergunta para panelistas. Aí eu faço a pergunta e daí a gente corta. E vamos fazer a discussão. Então, so it's okay. We're going to thank all the ones that are watching on the YouTube. And please, vê quem é que corta, Marcos. Não adianta olhar para mim, gente. I'm sitting here.
Yeah, okay.
Não é verdade? O que mais? Vou dançar o tango também? É.